The Western world that we're living in, every single hour, 106 children are aborted. That means they are murdered. 106 children are aborted every single hour, which means every 2 hours, every 3 hours, some 350 children are killed in the womb in the Western world. Every hour, 106. Every 24 hours, nearly 3,000. Every week, 21,000. Every month, 85,000. Every year, 1.3 million children are killed in the womb. Little people who are 14 weeks, 18 weeks, 30 weeks, they are even killing them when they are at 40 weeks. Can you imagine that? In the Western world, that's how they're paying for it. Secondly, every 7 seconds in the Western world, a woman is raped. So while we sit here, every 7 seconds, that means 10 every hour. That means 240, 300 women are raped every day in the Western world. And the Western world, at any given time, has 2.8 million prostitutes walking their streets. Whether in Holland, or in New York, or in Washington, D.C., or in France, or all the other red light districts. 2.8 million women who prefer to be prostitutes, even though they had the choice, if they like, to be mothers or wives. But they choose to be prostitutes because there are more than 10 million men who prefer them also to be prostitutes because that's their clients. They're also paying for it because every single day in the Western world, 350 young children are snatched off of the streets and put into some kind of place where they'll be used for child prostitution. Every day, 350 children disappear and used for child pedophiles, child prostitution. This is the Western world, the most developed world. Did you know that every single day, 357 people shoot themselves in the head, take some pills, slit their wrists? Every single day, they have no reason to live. In the developed Western world, I can give you more and more and more statistics, but I think you understand.
He was a mercy and a messenger. He was a mercy to mankind. He was a great favor. He was sent with an irrefutable truth. He was a man dealing gently with all people. Never in his life did he ever lift his hand to hit any human being. Ever. Not a servant, not a wife, not a child, not a friend. He was a mercy to the world. He was the best example to follow. He was the last prophet of mankind. He was sent to all the mankind and the jinn. He was victorious over all systems, and he was created on an exalted standard. Never drank alcohol throughout his life. Never used any kind of intoxicant. He never committed fornication or adultery. He never looked upon any woman with lust in his entire life. This was the manner of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His tolerance, his mercy, his patience, his integrity. Feeding the poor, visiting the sick, discharging the army, acting as a statesman, acting as an arbiter, sewing his clothes, washing his house, shopping for the food, doing all the things that you and I do, and at night standing in prayer for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And in the day, fighting the battles, discharging the armies, giving the ahkam and the rulings, explaining the Quran, instructing the people in behavior. How could a man do all of that and stand 4 or 5 hours at night at one time? What kind of human being could that be? It was a messenger. It was a prophet. This was a man with a message. This was a man in this world, but always thinking about the hereafter. Oh Muslims, oh non-Muslims, think about this kind of man. Have you heard of such a man? Have you ever seen such a man? Have you read about such a man?
You officially have a new sister. I said or gave my shahada last night. I am overjoyed. I am so happy.
What attracted me to Islam was the beauty in it. I hadn't been exposed to all the stereotypes or the media or the negative connotations. I haven't been exposed to that. So when I started reading these books about what Islam had to say, I was confronted with myself from my childhood teachings, from my lifestyle at the time, which was basically just living your life with no particular direction, and now this, Islam. And my soul, I guess you can say, came into trauma. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't think, I couldn't live properly anymore. What I knew what was proper, nothing made sense anymore. And I would stay up around the clock just trying to get my hands on anything that would talk about God, to find out who He really was, because up until this point I think it was just a name. It wasn't alive. He wasn't alive in my heart as yet. And I remember just running outside late, just crying out to whoever was there, this Creator, and I was saying, please answer me, give me direction, give me footing, give me something that I can hold on to, because I'm lost and I was desperate. I didn't want to live but I knew I couldn't take my life because I knew that that was not something to do. But at the same time, I didn't know which God to call on. Do I call on the God that they called in the Christian background? Do I call on the God in the Islamic background? Do I just drift as I've been drifting? Where do I call? So I called to this above the name, above the language, who this is, and I said, please just give me an answer. I need to know. I can't go on like this. And alhamdulillah, all praises for God. Within the 2 days of me calling to my being, my creator, I received that answer. I was inside of my math class, my grade 11 math class, and I was reading a book, and everything that I had been rejecting about elements of the faith, I can't fully explain it, but it flooded in, and I believed in everything. And I had already learned the Shahada on my own just by reading books, and I had learned about Muhammad, I had learned about things in Islam, and all these things, they came in, and I was just overwhelmed. It was like, this is it. I found it, and my eyes filled with tears, and my heart just filled with this joy, and I ran out of the classroom, and my teacher was like, Tanya, which is my given name, Tanya, where are you going? And I couldn't even respond. I was just like, language wasn't even in my head. I didn't know how to talk even. It was just so overwhelming. And I ran to the washroom, and I was like, I didn't even know what wudu was, but I was like flushing my face, trying to get clean, trying to do my own wudu, I guess. And I just said, this is it.